Alright, what is going on, my dudes? So on July 4th, I duped my 6-star Thor Jane Foster, and then I proceeded to use some of the catalysts that I grabbed from the July 4th deals to take her up to rank 3 prior to her buff actually being live. Now, the buff has been live in-game for a bit now. I think I'm going to be uploading this the day after the patch, so you probably have seen some gameplay of her. I just uploaded the video of a little damage comparison before and after. It's not the best buff, man. What the buff essentially did was it took her old SIG 200 kit, put it into her base kit, so it took away the SIG investment, gave her a little bit of a suppression when you're hitting a stunned opponent, gave her a little bit of a perfect block chance when the defender is shocked, and gave her some new power control potential with her new SIG ability, and also increased her resistance to shock. So honestly, it was a value buff on a champion who needed a rework, but hey man, you guys know me, I'm a pretty darn large Thor Jane Foster fan. The new movie's coming out, I'm seeing it opening night, super duper excited, man, so I wanted to make this video, this ultimate showcase video, showing you that there are some things that she absolutely can do very well and be very useful for, even unduped, man. Now, a lot of these things I've done in the past with my 5-star Jane Foster. I've made a lot of videos on her in the past, man, and we're gonna jump in and have some fun today with the 6-star rank 3 Jane Foster, man. And of course, we are gonna start out with the 6.2 champion boss. Let's freaking go, man. So most of this video is going to be like a big utility showcase, a bunch of different like lanes in Act 6, Act 7, where she's actually quite useful, man. Now, the funny thing about Jane is that her damage is okay, as you can see, when you're running suicides, but at the end of the day, she is just not a super duper suicide friendly champion, which is just you know, it's an interesting thing. It's an interesting balance to walk around, because she's tossing off, like, you know, really solid heavy attacks that are guaranteed crits with the suicides on, but she's just not super suicide friendly, man. But it's okay, it's all right. We're just having a fun time today, man. That's all we're doing. But as you can see, she was actually previously very good for the champion boss, and now she's even better because that heavy attack has a 17-second stagger, and there are 2 of them, and it's very, very powerful for countering the champion. So that's really, really good. You know, that makes her what she used to previously do well against him even better. So she's definitely a very solid option for the champion boss, even unduped now, which I think is definitely a very large win, especially for people with smaller rosters who don't have a lot of options for this guy, you know, and especially after, like, you know, the champion boss's nerf. All right, now he's even a little bit easier, so Jane Foster is going to be an absolutely phenomenal option for this guy, right? All you have to do is just get that spacing down, counter a special one with the heavy attack to continually keep those staggers on. It's a very similar strategy as if you're using Dr. Doom in a very safe and effective way, like not going for the Doom cycle against this guy. But yeah, that's the champion boss, man. That's the first 90%. And now, I gotta say, man, the one thing about this champion nerf here is that they took away the prowess in the final 10%, and that was one of my favorite parts. Like, I feel like I felt rewarded doing like a really large, enormous special attack after I did my dexes, and it was always really fun. Now I feel like the last part is like drawn out, like I have to do, like, you know, a couple special attacks now, so I'm definitely not digging that change about the last 10% to the champion boss here. So I kind of wish they kept that, and I feel like it actually makes it harder at the end too. But yeah, I have a lot of thoughts about the 6.2 champion boss nerf in general. But yeah, man, that was Jane Foster buffed versus the 6.2 champion boss. She definitely is very effective for the fight, no doubt about that. But let's start jumping right into some utility showcases. And of course, you guys know we got the Grandmaster fight coming up, but we're going to be saving it for last. So make sure you stick around. One of the OG videos on my channel. We are remaking it today in this video. But I actually did put this clip into my damage showcase, but I just love it so much, man. Heavy Assault, and this is also Foresight and Encroaching Stun. This is 400,000 health CGR, and this is an Act 7 lane. I think it's Act 7.2.6, right? And look, 50k heavy attack there. And over here, boom, 65k on the heavy attack, man, with Foresight active. Really, really solid, man. So Heavy Assault is actually a node that we see quite a bit, believe it or not, man. Like, you know, you could say like, oh, cool, everyone's good here, but that's actually not true. Not every champion is good for heavy assault. Champions with guaranteed crits that have decent damage on the guaranteed crits, right? They're going to be good for it. And Jane is actually has solid damage on the heavy attack, and suicides amplify it by quite a bit, right? And so for heavy assault, man, this was a 400,000 CGR, just completely flushed down the toilet very, very efficiently, right? Now, of course, she has very easy access to shock as well. She's always been a very solid option for Thunderstruck. So we're going to take a look at that today. Thunderstruck also, you know, we only do damage when we have shock debuffs on the opponent. So of course, Special 1, Special 2, and Special 3 are all going to put shocks against a Cosmic Champion. The Special 2 will be a passive shock. But yeah, she's really always been very solid for this lane, for Thunderstruck in general. That's another node that we see come around all the time. You know, I feel like there's one in 7.2, 7.3, 7.4. It just keeps coming around, right? And especially now, man, like with the suppression over here, you can take advantage of that shock and you can hit them a lot more without pushing them right to the Special 3. Of course, you do have to be careful and mindful of pushing them to the Special 3. And, you know, it's not the greatest change there with the suppression. It's not like an enervate or anything like that, which would have actually been a very nice change. But it's a lot better for just getting in some more hits during the stun lock. So as you can see, very effective for that stuff. She actually has really solid buff control, man. That heavy attack stagger is huge. So we're going to go for Footloose Medusa here. So there's going to be a lot of buffs flying all over the place. Fury buffs for Medusa, along with the Unstoppable and the Evade buffs. And look at it, man. The damage against a Cosmic Champion with suicides on is definitely not bad. Again, not the most suicide-friendly champion, but what can you do? So the staggers right there, not too bad, man. Just getting rid of those Footloose buffs. You absolutely love to see it. Here we're getting a nice little stun chain with the heavy attacks. We're continually going. We have 7 staggers on. There's a Special 1, and let's finish it off with one more heavy attack. Very solid for some buff control stuff. No doubt about it. Now, this is a video I made a while ago. Crit me with your best shot lane in 6.4.2. I brought Shang-Chi for that annoying Joe Fixit, man. He is low-key a very annoying defender nowadays, but yeah, she's very good for crit me with your best shot, obviously, because every single hit that you do into a stunned opponent is going to be a guaranteed critical hit, which is great. We actually don't have suicides on for this one, and as you can see, the damage is definitely lower, 10k, right, on the heavy attack crit against a Cosmic Champion, as opposed to the 15k against Medusa. Plus Heimdall is also probably a little bit tankier, but hey, whatever, man. But yeah, so definitely like a decent option for this, no doubt about it. This lane is very annoying. Back in 6.4, if you still have to go through that, 6.4.2, she can do this unduped now. Previously, you had to be Sig 200 to do this with decent damage, and now she can do it unduped, which is definitely something that I like about the buff quite a bit. The suppression is definitely kind of nice here. Basically, if you don't know exactly what it is, the suppression basically gives you rank 3 of the Petrify Mastery, and that is a 30% suppression while the defender is stunned. Also reduces the regeneration rate by 30%, which is nice. And you can also have additional attack rating on Jane Foster if you put 3 points into the Petrify Mastery, which I don't do, and which I'm not going to do because I don't think it's going to be that big of a difference for her. But yeah, we're going to finish this off with a nice solid stun chain here, right? Yeah, almost. No, just got a little nice crit. But cool, man. That was crit me with your best shot. Now we're going to jump on to 6.2 Mordo. We're going out with no suicides, and we have the White Magneto pre-fight on, of course. Now, one thing that's a little bit annoying about Mordo here is that if he's shocked and we, you know, hit him and he gets stunned, we have to be careful that we don't hit him again, or else he'll astral evade, okay, when it's a stun debuff and not a passive stun. But what is really solid here is that one of the most annoying things in this fight is that power gain, and with the way her staggers work, he's pretty much never going to be getting that power gain, and if he does, with the new Sig ability, every single time we put a shock on the defender while there's a power gain buff on him, right, it's going to be removed, which is very, very nice. And on top of that, if there is a shock, right, already going, and he gets Spite, for example, Power Flood, this on, you know, the beta server, Jane Foster is Sig 200, that's a minus 80% ability power rate. So that's going to really hinder the Spite power flow that this guy is getting. So all in all, Jane Foster with White Magneto, very solid option for this Mordo. Not super duper quick and speedy, because you do have to watch here. I should show you behind my face cam here the power rate with the shock. Check it out. So like I said, minus 80% power rate, right? So watch right here, power flood. Look at that. That would normally shoot right up, right? But it's reduced by 80%. So it's definitely very, very solid for this fight. You know, it's like I said, it's slow, but it's effective and it's very, very safe. So that is essentially the strat here. It's just taking it slow, controlling his power, making sure it does not get out of control. And that is what we want to do, man. And she's handling it just fine. Of course, you know, there's going to be somebody commenting, oh, but why wouldn't you just use Dr. Doom? I don't know, man. I made that video last week, so you can go watch that one if you want to watch it. It's better than this one, so I wouldn't blame you. But we're doing this one today. You know, and for people who don't have Dr. Doom, it's nice to have another option. You know what I mean? So yeah, those staggers are super duper strong. I do wish she could hit him like that, right? I do wish that like she had passive stuns or something like that. That'd be really, really nice. But yeah, the Mordo AI, man, is very odd. Where like you nullify or you stagger that power gain buff, and he still gets defensive as if he had it. That's definitely annoying. But yeah, another thing is that obviously do not go gentle is a node here, so you have to keep either intercepting or throwing heavy attacks. And with the natural parry heavy, you know, rotation of her, the loop here that we're doing, it's really keeping the do not go gentle under control. I never felt that was an issue at all because we're doing so many one-hit heavy attacks, which is great. But yeah, slowly but surely, this guy is going down. If we were running suicides, he would have been down already, but they were off because I was recording some other stuff. Didn't feel like putting them back on. Here we are. And yeah, man, this guy is just about down, but he's being so passive. He clipped us here. It's fine. Not the biggest deal in the world, right? We're going to go for a special too. Put another nice shock on him. By the way, this shock is going to be refreshed every single time. Nice. Every single time a buff is nullified or staggered off of the opponent. So right there, as you can see, that shock was in fact paused, okay? And one more heavy attack. Get rid of Do Not Go Gentle. That's it. Mordo flushed down the toilet. Not too bad. So with the buff, she is now immune or 100% resistant to all shock effects. That includes debuffs. That includes passive. So for EMP modification, which is actually an annoying shared node in Alliance War, I'm not saying that Jane Foster is going to be like an OP Alliance War attacker because I don't think she's going to be. But if you really don't have any options there, right, and you happen to have a Jane Foster, let's say you play in a lower tier of Alliance War, and you just have like set paths, set fights, and you do not have a good option for node 26, 24, I think it's 24 that has EMP modification. She could actually be a decent option here, man, for certain fights, because watch, you'll see right now when Nightcrawler uses a special attack, we have 8 stacks of passive shocks on us, and it's not even touching us. Right now, we're actually, you know, taking damage from the poison, because like I said, I was running suicides during this clip, didn't feel like changing it just for the demonstration of what she can do utility-wise, right? But the poisons, by the way, it's because it's acid wash, and also like you hit them and they get a poison. It's in 6.3.6. But yeah, point is 0 damage from shock debuffs and passives, and she'll actually heal from debuffs, which is great. So this is an interesting one. Selective time stream and also shock vulnerability. So selective time stream is that every 20 seconds they're going to heal back to full unless there's a shock or incinerate debuff on them. So with Jane Foster, very, very easy to get, you know, the special one shock within 20 seconds, right? Now, of course, Oscillate here is very, very annoying. And again, we're running Suicide, so we're going to be using the special one a bunch. We're taking a bit of recoil damage because we have to be using the special one at the proper time, right? Timing it out just perfectly right here. Boom, there we go. And of course, Oscillate is on, so it's going to be a little bit annoying, which is unfortunate. So we're not really going to be able to take advantage of shock vulnerability, but we're more so using that shock as like a utility purpose right now to just make sure he does not heal back to full the entire fight. So that is what we're doing right now, right? So we're going to go ahead and toss off the special one right here. Nice, okay? Because the special 2 shock passive does not count for this, right? The shock vulnerability is making even her basic hits very, very nice there. 14k mediums, almost 10k light attacks. That's great. Shock vulnerability, really, really solid for shock vulnerability. Very easy access to shock. You're gonna have to go for another special one. Boom, gonna have to bait out that special 2 from this giant venomous duck. All right, boom, boom, dodge the eggs. I would love to get a heavy attack off, but I guess I didn't think of it in the moment to get a heavy attack with shock vulnerability. Nice, but that was probably would have been like a nice juicy like 35k heavy attack against this guy. But yeah, we're gonna go for one more special one at just the right time, and we completely avoided the selective time stream very, very easily. You never know when you're going to need to counter selective time stream while also potentially dealing with shocks on you, while also potentially having to nullify buffs. She can definitely be solid for a type of boss in the future where you're going to need all that utility in one. So we're going to do the Hyperion in 6.3 that everyone was doing a few months ago. Remember that? I did this in the damage showcase, but I did it without suicides. We're going to do it with suicides here because the SIG ability is very good for countering passive power gain and also just power buffs in general. So we're going to showcase that. And also just the heavy attack in general is huge, man. So the heavy attack, get a couple of those guys up, those staggers, and you're really not going to be dealing with those power gain buffs in the first place, you know. But what I want to do here is just build up some power, right? Keep some of those specials in the bank so that I can control that power gain, but I want to also get the staggers on him as much as possible. But we can actually nullify his power gain buff if we go for the special 2 right here. Bam, and it's gone. And now that shock is going to be on him, right? It's going to be paused for the time being. Every single time we nullify one of those things, it's going to be paused for, I think, 7 seconds, which is actually very, very nice, especially when there are a lot of buffs on the defender. And as you can see, Hyperion is, of course, going to have a bunch. We're going to get rid of that, pause that for 7 seconds. All right, we got the staggers going. All right, we're just kind of taking it slow right over here. All right, we got the nice stun. Boom, 2 more staggers. The shock is reducing the ability power rate, and we're going to go in and finish it off. Nice. So yeah, man, I think the one that I posted yesterday was actually cleaner, but hey, it's fine. So shock vulnerability. Let's see some damage on shock vulnerability. This is also Mixmaster. This is in 7.2.4, I want to say, man. It's the chapter with the Nova boss. And yeah, this Mixmaster, but also you don't get mixed mastered if there's a shock on the defender. And of course, Jane Foster, as we know by now, has a very easy access to shock. So I'm going to build up to just under 2 bars of power, and I'm going to just get that shock going, you know? That's what we're going to be doing. Boom, there we go. And yeah, 13k mediums, 9k light attacks, pretty much 14k mediums, 30k. Dude, 30k on the heavy attack, and we're gonna go ahead and chance it here. We're just doing some freaking damage, doing some stun locks, man. She was at 3 bars of power. I don't recommend you doing that, but we were just having a really good time. So live wire. This is a really interesting node. Both the so fast. Both the attacker and defender strikes have a 20% chance to apply a shock debuff, dealing 50% of their base attack with under damage over 10 seconds. There's shock vulnerability here as well, along with redouble determination. So there's a lot of give and take here on this node. But Jane obviously is going to have a really good time here because you just hit the defender. There's also Thunderstruck, by the way. That's why sometimes we don't do damage, because it's Thunderstruck as well. But obviously just hit the defender, you're going to get shocks. And when you hit them while they're shocked, you could do this. Now, of course, Strife defensively, a little annoying when it comes to this because, you know, if you hit him while with crits, he's going to gain, I believe it's like, I forget the exact what it is defensively, but I believe it's that when he's at 5 of his things and you hit him with a crit, he will glance and go invisible, right? It's really more so a defensive ability, but it's also nice and useful on offense as well. But yeah, it's fine. But yeah, obviously it would have been great to have a different defender here, but it was the first one on the path, and it's going to have to play around some of the abilities. But as you can see, man, shock vulnerability, definitely solid and really good for this node in general. I do believe this was 7.4. It may have been 7.3, but I'm almost 100% confident that we will see this node again in the future. So she's going to be great for it there, you know, and also depending on the champions on the path. You never know, she could be a total top option for it. Of course, there's Black Widow of the Origin. Thor Ragnarok was good here. It's actually who I used. Nebula is really, really solid here, of course, as well, right? Just lots of shocks, all that fun stuff, you know? But yeah, she also has the passive shocks, which is nice, you know, which is definitely nice. But yeah, gotta work around the Strife, invisibilities, and all that fun stuff. But as you can see, even with working around the defensive nature of this guy, she's still doing like fine enough, man. you know, and if this wasn't a champion who just goes invisible when you hit him like that, she would actually be rinsing right through it. So that's totally cool. Next time I see this lane, I'll probably bust out the rank 3 Jane Foster because, hey man, we got a rank 3 Jane Foster and we're going to use her when we can because she's not the #1 most useful champion, but when it comes to shock and guaranteed crits and easy access to stagger, she's definitely solid enough. You know, 5% left in this guy. Can we finish it? Yes, of course we can. Now, I told you she's 100% resistant to the shock debuffs, right? Gonna heal from it. So here we have Clapback, man. So Clapback, it's a fun node. Usually, you know, a lot of times champions throw their special attacks or abilities that put debuffs on the opponent, and sometimes it hurts. It hurts you. But Jane is going to put a shock on Sunspot, and A, it's going to be really good because it's going to make him so he can't, like, gain his flare charges or whatever it's called. And B, we're going to get a shock on us. Check it out. Ready? Here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Special one. Shock on us. We are healing from it, man. Now, if you don't run the Suicide Masteries, you're going to be healing a lot. But if you do, it's going to kind of offset the damage back from recoil, which is fun. You know? So, yeah, as you can see, we're healing from it. It's nice. You love to see it. It's great, amazing, beautiful, fantastic, phenomenal. You know, this Sunspot down to 8% health. Not too bad, man. Not too bad at all. Can we finish it off? Hell yeah, we can. Super solid, man. And there is also an Arcus on this path. And that's going to be great because you use a special one against Arcus. And first of all, you have a nice solid energy resistance, 1831 energy resistance, just in general from the Cold Snap. And special one going to remove all of his power gain buffs, so no cold snap, no armor breaks, no nothing. So yeah, she's definitely a good option for what's his face, for Arcus. But man, back in the day, I posted a 5-star Thor Jane Foster versus the Grandmaster video. It was one of my first videos ever when I started actually doing YouTube for real. Got very popular, right? At the time, the video blew up on my very small channel at the time. So that video got popular. It's one of the videos that really launched my channel initially. So I love that video, and I have a lot of sentimental feelings towards it, right? So what we're going to do today is we got our rank 3 Jane Foster, buffed Jane Foster, and we're going to bring her in against the Grandmaster. And now what I love about this is that she used to have to be at least duped to be good for this fight. She used to be ideally at a high sig to be amazing for this fight. Now she can do it unduped, baby. Unduped. She can go in, get those guaranteed crits against the Grandmaster. I love that, man. So I really, really like that quite a bit. I really, really do. I think it's great. I think that's a big win for people who are moving through Act 6, don't have an amazing option for this guy, have an unduped Jane Foster. Now you got a good option for him, man, because look at how good she handles this fight. The entire time. And actually now, she is better for it now because with her new SIG ability, in the final phase, you can really control his power nicely because he gains that passive power gain. He was being so annoying here, by the way. He wouldn't throw his special one, and he was just not giving it to me, man, in the beginning. But in that final phase, and you'll see it, I'll show you, you really keep the power gain under control. I went to post many videos of this guy in the past, like 4 Ultimate Showcase videos and everything, and sometimes I do, but very often he just like goes right to his special 3, does not throw his special attacks, and it kills the run. And it's very, very annoying, but that does not happen when you reduce that power gain rate. So check this out, man. Gotta get the style points, swing the hammer, bam! 486k. 486,000 damage. That is the damage cap against this guy. So here we're going to swing our hammer in the corner. Look at the staggers, man. Look at how efficient you could possibly get with these staggers. 17 seconds each. We have 20 staggers right now. Now we're going to start fighting this guy for real, man. So obviously, the name of the game here is to bait out the special one as much as possible to get as many of those tokens of competence, those green tokens, so you can get extra attack rating, you know, while he's in his wounded phase. And what makes Jane so good at doing all that damage, what the reason because of that is because she has the guaranteed crits during stunned opponents' stunned windows, right? So the wounded phase, it counts as a stun. Also, every single challenge that he has, she's amazing for. In the first part, land a guaranteed critical hit. Her crit rate is like, okay. It's like okay in the beginning. Also, damaging effect, special 1 shock, right? With an attack, anybody can do that. Intercept, anybody can do that, right? Any champion, I mean. Here, can we get a crit? Did we get it? I don't even know. But anyway, 13 tokens of competence, 380k heavy attacks, man, down to 55%. Not too bad, man. One more of those and we're pretty much good to go. So, gain a buff. How are we going to gain a buff? The dexterity buff absolutely counts there. Definitely counts, okay? So, another thing, man, is that if he does happen to get to his special 2, the energy resistance is actually really nice for just blocking it, you know? So that's one thing, man. Literally every single thing in her kit, including her new sig ability, is amazing for this fight. If she had a way to become immune to reverse controls, she would be arguably the #1 option, right? So she doesn't have that. And that's one thing that she's missing there. But now that she can actually control his power in the final phase, it's pretty huge, man. It's definitely pretty huge. But yeah, I've always really loved her for this fight, obviously, right? But yeah, we got 8 of our thingies now. We're about to get our 9th with the special 1 shock. Okay, there we go. Boom, let's go in and go for the special 1. Bam! One more little mini game to complete. Can we bait out one more special 1 from this guy first, though? Land a critical hit. Don't even need it because we're going to go right in here with the heavy attacks. Can we get him down to 30%? Of course we can. Down to 29% now. Easy peasy, and also lemon squeezy all of that was, man. 2 cycles of the wounded phase, man. And now we're in the part I was just telling you about. We're in that final part. Well, there's one little 1% phase, but this is like the real like final phase here where there's inverted controls and all this other stuff. But what we're going to do here is we're going to back off now, get our well-timed blocks, right? But we're actually going to go for our special 2, because look at how his power is going up. It's going up at a relatively fast rate, right? Like sometimes that's good for building the tokens of competence, don't get me wrong. But what happens just so often is the guy, he just gets defensive, right? And then he holds block and he gets to a special 2 or a special 3. So here it just hits block 5 times, and I knew I was going to get hit, but I said it's okay. I just want to make sure I get that token. Right here it happened again. But look, while the shock is on, do you see how that's like reduced by quite a bit? Now, it seems to still be reduced, but that shouldn't be reduced. That might be a bug. I don't know, but we're going to go for it again. Bam! Here comes the reverse controls, the inverted controls, but check it out, man. Nice. Now, one thing is that this usually happens, like this time period usually happens like right around the time that he's getting a special attack, right? Like the reverse control switch. But when you mess with his power gain, do you see how like I can kind of like step back and he doesn't have a special attack to throw and clip me? That's happened to me so many times. It's happened to so many people so many times. So just that little bit of just messing with his power gain just ever so slightly, even at a low sig, is going to be like very, very nice for just making this last phase, honestly, easier. Very much so easier, man, because he's not going to be getting to special 3. He's not really going to be getting to special 2. Unfortunately, he clipped us right here. But hey, what are you going to do? It's fine. But yeah, he's not going to be getting to special 2, and even if he does, we have the energy resistance. Going to go for the special 2 to continue keeping that going. Now, like I said, this is potentially making this final phase a little bit longer because, you know, we're not getting as many tokens of competence. So we could, instead of just nuking through with like 1, you know, wounded phase, might have to do 2, possibly even 3. But I felt super safe this entire time because I was just kind of stalling and waiting here, you know, waiting out all of this stuff. You know, here I got him down to 7%. I said, all right, we're going to throw that back here while the inverted controls are about to change. I was watching that, always keeping an eye on that. And yeah, it's totally fine, man. I'm fine going through one more cycle of the mini games here. Right, strike my block. He's about to get passive. Get back, dude. Get back. Why are you jumping at me? You know, because look at his power. He's just not really getting any power at all because of the shocks and all that stuff, right? So yeah, I'm totally fine with like having 1 extra wounded cycle if it means for a safer overall time in this final phase. And if you don't like that, if you want to just get the tokens of competence, don't use special 1, don't use special 2, don't put the shock on him. There's no reason to, unless it specifically says knock me down, unless he gets that call out, which he gets quite a bit. But yeah, backdash now, and this is going to be pretty much It's pretty much the end. Pretty much it, you know? So yeah, one more heavy attack. If we went for it, would have been it. But now we're in that final 1% phase. We can get one intercept, and we're going to be good to go pretty much, because we're going to go medium, light, light, backdraft into a medium, light, light into a backdraft, medium, light, light, backdraft. We're going to do it a couple more times, and that is pretty much going to be it. And this was a very efficient takedown of the Grandmaster Boss with Jane Foster. She was amazing for it before, and she's actually even better for it now. Got to go for the style points, hold the heavy attack, and we'll watch the entire special 3 for the first time in this video. Boom, throw it right at his face, jump right up, punch him. Oh yeah, knock him up and slam him with that hammer. That's gonna be it. The Grandmaster Boss flushed right down the toilet, and that is buffed Jane Foster, man. So here's the thing. She's got her niche uses, and she's pretty good for certain things that she's good for. She's not super duper OP. It's not the next Omega level buff. Personally, I am hoping we go the Gamora route here. We see the Gamora treatment where she gets a second buff, and hopefully it's good there. Hopefully we don't need the third one. But I'm hoping it's like, probably could have given her a little more. Let's take her back to the lab, just beef her up a little bit. That's what I'm hoping for, man. But if it doesn't happen, I don't really care. It is what it is. She's better now than she was before. People are saying she's exactly the same. She's not. She's just like literally not the same. She's not a top Mystic champion. She's not one of the best buffs ever. Probably on the lower end. But at least I was just happy that she's usable at a lower sig now. So that's cool. It is what it is. Wanted to make a fun video about it. This one's over 30 minutes long. Cool, nice. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop your boy a big old like. Let me know what you think about the Thor Jane Foster uses I showed off in this video, in this Ultimate Showcase video, in the comment section below. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos from that July 4th haul. We got a bunch coming. It's gonna be fun. So make sure you stick around and check them out. I'll be seeing you there, man. I'll be seeing you around. That's what I usually say. I felt weird not saying it, so I had to say it. Bye.